Hey, I'm Cheyenne Wimberley. Welcome to the Equinety Barn Check. Join us today as we beat the heat and ride some horses and take a look around the place. The horses started really early for me. My family was into racehorses, so I started riding when I could walk, which was early. And I won my first state championship when I was 4 years old. So we were just around horses all day, every day. That was a family business. And my babysitter was a horse. So it just came natural. It was just a way of life. My mom ran barrels. While we were growing up, my dad team roped and we won a state championship up until I was probably like 10 in the junior association. Then we switched over to the amateur association. I filled my permit when I was 10 because there wasn't an age limit professional-wise then. And I was really young when we started professional rodeo. I had a great horse at that time that allowed us great avenues, and I rodeoed really young. We were fortunate, and sometimes you never run into another horse of that caliber. I mean, there truly are once-in-a-lifetime horses. At that time that horse lasted, I was 16th in the world when I was 11. The first time I went to the NFR was in '97 and in '98, and I was in college, and I had a really great horse. He really was a phenomenal horse. He wasn't the soundest, but he would give all he had every time that he could. And so that was the first time. And then I took about a 20-year hiatus and really just life and needed different horses. I trained some younger horses. So when we bought this place, there wasn't anything on it except for a little hay barn. So we built our arena up on the hill so it would overlook most of the property. And it really had the only clay on the property. We have about 50 acres here. And it's just nice to ride with the horses every day. I put 2 panels and a banner over there on the second barrel side, just so that when the right-handed horse goes across the pin to the second barrel, they get used to running into a banner. Most of the time, you're going to have a banner on your second barrel side. I also put in an alleyway because it's really an important part to the start of a barrel pattern. And I felt like that my horses that were young were not knowing how to go down the alley when we went off to their first competition. So this allowed them to get used to the alley and where to place their feet in the alley. Now that we're done in the arena, let's go check out the barn and some of my favorite things on the place. This is one of our smaller lean-tos, but as I'm going to show you a couple of our lean-tos, the stalls are 15 by 15. As you can see, most of the horses are in open living. So I don't have any horses that come up into the barn area. They all have their own individual runs and lean-tos. This is outdoor living, I feel like, at one of its finest because our runs are big. They all have adequate space to move around. This is Chewy. He is now 9, and I had him as a 2-year-old. So I trained him. He came from a colt breaker. He has, so he's been on Equinety most of his life. He has been fortunate. He's had hardly any kind of injuries, and he's really been a sound horse. So this is Blue Duck, and we raised him. His mom is Smooch, which I also went to the NFR on and we're gonna get to see, but he's 6. He's one of our favorites because this is his personality. He's in your pocket, curious, and he's just such a good boy. And he looks good too, so we really like that part. And this is Smooch, who is the mama to the 2 roans, and to Blue Duck and Fragile. And she's the reason I kind of started back rodeoing in 2018. She's helped me to all the last qualifications. She's really great. She's an asset to any trailer. But she's not only been great in the arena, she's been a huge blessing for the offspring that we have with her. When I got back on the road, I had forgotten how stressful the road was for a horse because nothing is the same for them. They're traveling all the time, they're in a new stall all the time, they're on new surface all the time. Their environment's changing in and out. And I knew that the horses that I had that weren't starting young or fresh, or their legs weren't fresh, were gonna need all the help they could get for longevity. So I was visiting with Bob Lucenart, and he's like, man, we have been on this Equinety for several years. This is a great product. You know, they're kind of a no BS type people. So I was like, you know, it can't hurt. So I thought, that's kind of the avenue I'm looking for. And I was already into healthy things, no byproducts, no sugars. I didn't need anything that was gonna add to the degenerative of their health. I needed everything that was gonna be positive. So yeah, in 2019, we jumped on Equinety, and it's been a great ride. I was constantly about the recovery of the horse because it was just like an athlete. Every run that they make is an exertion. And I needed to get back into them what we took out of them. And the muscle recovery of Equinety is, with the branched chain amino acids, are just amazing. It's all for the horse, and we're in it for the horse, so Equinety has to be your product. I mean, it's the only product that I know that is so simple. It's 1 scoop a day, and you don't have to do anything, and you know that it's working. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. I mean, it's just that easy. It's just the easiest product I've ever seen that you're gonna see something out of. So this is the tack room. It's really just a big open area, and it's convenient. That's what I love. So my saddles, of course, are in the middle here, but we own a saddle company, Cowboy Classic Saddlery, and I have some barrel saddles in here and some rope saddles, since we do a little bit of both. Then here's my bit area. So actually, every barrel racer has a lot of bits, and I probably start with the bits that we use, so my competition bits, but it just led into, and I'm a person that never sells their bits. So this station here is just everything that the horses get hauled in, the PHT boots and the Cavallo boots. They're just stored in an easy access and easy to get to the barn area. So now we're gonna go into the stalling area of the barn. As you can see, it's also pretty much an open living area where there's 4 stalls. The stalls are 15 by 15. We don't usually keep them in stalls unless there's an injury or we're in mare season or the really harsh weather. But usually one of the good horses lives at the end stall because it's kind of the suite of the barn. It has also a 15 by 15 area. It has a large opening that goes out to the outdoor. We have a small area here that has a lean-to. This allows for the shade area and for harsh weather. The gates can close here, and it just gives them an area that doesn't make them feel like they're trapped into a barn or a stall, and then they have some living area. Thank you for joining me today for a little riding, showing off my barn and the Equinety barn check. We're gonna check out of this Texas heat.